For the second year in a row, the Biden administration has excluded Nigeria from its religious liberty watch list, despite thousands of Christians reportedly killed in the nation. When I was on the commission, in fact, I was chairman of the commission, we worked with the Trump administration to get Nigeria placed on the what's called the CPC list, the country of particular concern, because of what was happening in Nigeria. And the situation has only gotten worse. But yet, the Biden administration, both years, they've been in charge of taking them off the list. Joining me now to discuss this is the former representative from the state of Virginia, the author of the 1998 United States International Religious Freedom Act, which created the commission. He is now on the commission as one of the commissioners, Congressman Frank Wolf. Frank, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Tony. I'm glad to be with you. Thank you very much.
All right. So what excuse is the Biden administration giving this time for excluding Nigeria from the CPC list?
Well, before I get to that, I want to thank you and FYC for the work you do. I think you're one of the most effective groups here in Washington. And God bless you. We had 2 or 3 more like you, I think. But anyway, thank you, and thank all the people that help you and support you.
Thank
you.
Nobody
knows why they did this. This was done the day before Blinken went to Nigeria. Nobody knows. As you know, USERF made a very strong statement, strongly in support of CPC. They also made a very strong statement asking for a special envoy for Nigeria and the Lake Chad region to deal with all of the problems, persecution, terrorism, kidnapping across the board. So why did they do it? Things are actually worse now than they were last year, and yet they didn't. I don't know. I do not know why they did.
In my conversations before leaving the commission with even members of the Biden administration, and I assume that the commission, reading the statements, and I've not been involved, I've watched your statements and others from the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, but it appears, as it was when I was there, that this is bipartisan, that both the Republican and Democrat appointed members of the commission see Nigeria as a place that, as a country that should be placed on the CPC list.
You are absolutely right. There was no opposition to it. It was Republican and Democrat. In fact, there's a member of the commission, Fred Davey, very good member. I think you know Fred, you served with him. He went to Nigeria several months ago and came back and validated this. Now, this was a totally bipartisan. Every Republican, every Democrat on the commission felt, 1, they ought to be a CPC designated country, and 2, there ought to be a special envoy to deal with all these problems. If you looked at the Wall Street Journal today or yesterday, they talked about terrorism coming in Nigeria, the whole region. This country is out of control. And keep in mind, it is the 3rd most dangerous country in the world, according to the Global Terrorism Index. And Christians are being killed left and right every single day, and it's getting worse.
In fact, there was a recent report coming out of Nigeria about the Nigerian military forcing women who had been captured and raped by Boko Haram terrorist groups to have forced abortions. I mean, what do we know about this? Has the Biden administration, are they just turning a blind eye to this?
Well, I don't know. I asked today, and they said they are looking into it. Keep in mind, if you believe the Reuters report, this went on since 2013. It's almost amazing that the embassy didn't know. If you read the Reuters story, and I know you have, which frankly, the Reuters story should be sent to every Republican and Democrat who serves on the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. 10,000 women by the military, and we aid the Nigerian military. We give a lot of money to the Nigerian military. In fact, if I recall, when Blinken went there, he announced new grants. But the fact that this went on since 2013, and now we're at 2022, and nobody knew.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. So hopefully the IG will look at it. I would hope members of Congress would ask the Inspector General for the State Department. I would hope other groups would speak out too. I haven't heard the U.S. Institute for Peace say anything about it. I haven't heard a lot of the groups in town that you thought would be enraged, but you got to believe that somebody would have heard something, because we work with the Nigerian military. We've trained the Nigerian military. And to think this went on from 2013 and 10,000 women.
Yeah, it is a little hard to believe that no one knew about this. And I mean, I've worked with those groups on the ground over there that are helping NGOs, and they did not have this. I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see. This would fall under the jurisdiction of our mutual friend, Congressman Chris Smith of New Jersey, and his subcommittee. And I'm certain that once the 118th Congress is in place, that he will be more than eager to have oversight hearings as it pertains to this issue coming out of Nigeria.
Oh, I'm sure Chris is great on this issue. He's been to not Nigeria, and I'm sure he will. I would also hope, though, the Senate would look at it. I would hope when the ambassador comes up, as you know, the hearings were going to be held and then they were canceled. When the ambassador comes up, the designee, he is asked this question. What do you know about it, Mr. Ambassador? Are you going to find out? Will you report to the committee? Who knew? Was any federal money go? Did anyone ever hear? Were there ever rumors? Did anybody in the embassy who went to that region when they talked to the Boko Haram parents, children, remember the Chibok girls? Did they ever talk to whatever? Somebody must have known, but I think Chris can get to it. But the Senate Foreign Relations Committee should also ask these questions when the man comes up to be confirmed.
Well, in my conversations with the previous ambassador, those filling in that role regarding the status of Nigeria, one of the things that we're hearing and have been hearing is that, well, this is not religious conflict. This is a conflict over limited resources brought about by climate change. And so this does not fit their narrative, and they're refusing to recognize the obvious, that religion is a motivating factor for what is happening there in the country of Nigeria.
It is. Boko Haram is committing genocide. This is one of the first times America will ever know, if you've read Greg Stanton's statement, that Boko Haram committed genocide, and we're not saying anything at all about it. Also, the Fulani militants. I was there. I remember the Fulani militants. You come into villages, people tell you what's taking place. It is because they are Christians. Talk to Bishop Kuku. Talk to the Catholic Church. Talk to the Anglican Church. It is an attack against Christianity and some Muslims too. Some Muslims have been attacked, but it is basically an attack against Christianity that has been going on for a long while, and there's been no response by the government, if you will. And I think our government, quite frankly, the last ambassador, I pulled a statement out. You remember, former Ambassador John Campbell? He said the giant of Africa is falling. It's the largest country in Africa.
Right.
In 2050, they'll have more people in Nigeria than they have here in the United States. So it is genocide and genocide activity mainly against Christians.
And you have been sounding the alarm on this for a long time. I appreciate your leadership on this, and rightfully so. Nigeria, the most populous country there, if it is destabilized, the entire African continent will be destabilized. And I appreciate you not only authoring the law that created the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, but now being willing to serve on there as an advocate for the persecuted. And I want to thank you for joining us as well on today's program. So, Frank, always great to see you.
Thank you, and thank all your supporters. They are really making a difference by helping you out. God bless you.
Thank you, Frank.